This week on Houston Newsmakers, Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg. Her office has been in the news recently for the kind of reason she welcomes, making big headway in the very big backlog of criminal cases, and also in the efforts to crack down on fentanyl. And the Texas Black Expo is celebrating 20 years of helping business dreams come true. Irvin Magic Johnson will help celebrate this year, and Expo President Jerome Love is here to talk about next month's big weekend.
From KPRC 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Khambrel Marshall.
Good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers, where I'm pleased to welcome Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
You haven't been here in a while. I'm feeling a little left out.
Hey, we started together as when I was the anti-gang task force director, and you were new to Houston, and it's all history since then.
25 years, almost 25 years.
It has.
And we're both still young and vibrant, right? Hey, let's talk. You've had a really busy couple of weeks before. We're going to talk specifics about the backlog that you're trying to make inroads into, and also the fentanyl collaboration you have now to cut back on that. But I was surprised. I listened to some of the news conferences about just how busy your office is, about how much goes on a day-to-day basis. What's a day-to-day look like for your office, prosecutor?
You know, we're a large public law firm, and really I'm the managing partner of about 375 prosecutors and then another 600 support staff investigators. And we handle about 300 cases, new cases coming in every day. So your backlog is the number left at the end of the year that you haven't resolved. And our lawyers carry enormous caseloads, and they face problems with a backlog because it makes it hard to try those cases and move those cases.
And I know that's been something over the years. You look at that and it doesn't budge very much, and that's why you've done what you've done to try to do something about that. We're going to talk more in depth about that a little later on, but one of the examples of your office is the kind of crimes that you have. You're leveraging a lot of things going on. One of them is the impact of fentanyl in our community. It's very interesting to see what you've done there. I want to get into the specifics of what's going on with the partnership you have with DEA and others, but I have Bill Barajas, who did a package, who looked at your news conference. It gives a little recap of what went on in that news conference here.
It was a joint press conference. Daniel Como, the special agent in charge of the DEA's Houston division, saying the newly created task force is already up and running.
Now, this task force is working on over 30 investigations right now.
District Attorney Kim Ogg explained just how fentanyl was affecting the Houston area. She says in 2021, 69% of overdose deaths involving 14 to 25-year-olds were connected to the opioid. In 22, that number jumped to 74%.
Fentanyl, as you all know, is a powerful opioid, maybe 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. And it's been responsible for nearly half of the 1,096 overdose deaths in Harris County in 2022.
In response, the task force will be going after those responsible for supplying the drugs, including the cartels.
Our prosecutors will be providing, as experts, legal support for the investigation of fatal overdose cases, delivery of drugs causing death, or they can be prosecuted as negligent homicide, manslaughter, or even murder.
A unique partnership. How unique is what's going on here? Is this something that other communities have done? Or is this something going on here that's kind of starting a trend that maybe others should follow?
This is unique in Texas. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but fentanyl's hitting every major urban area, and I think rural areas too, because the pills that are being illicitly manufactured are almost always now some poisonous, they have some poisonous contaminant like fentanyl. Methamphetamines, other drugs are used, but fentanyl is the killer. And because they're processed in homemade plants, if you will, with pill presses, we have no idea how much fentanyl goes into each pill, nor does the user. And so we're seeing death after death. About 75% of these overdose deaths by fentanyl are people under 21.
This whole process now, the coordination with these with the DEA and others making the arrest? I mean,
Yes.
your success depends upon people being arrested as well, does it not?
It does. And what we've never done before is investigate, as law enforcement, overdose deaths like homicides. That's what's new. And so now many crimes are solvable often through the victim's phone. And so if police respond to an overdose scene now, they are being trained to gather the evidence, provide it to this special squad, and let the squad investigate the case as a homicide. It's not hard. You can usually find who they got the drug from. And then we just work the chain of responsibility and legal accountability up. And we're looking, of course, for the cartels that traffic it, down to the mid-level dealers who distribute it, down to the street-level pushers who give people or sell people pills.
So a lot depends upon the people out there making the arrest, and you guys get a chance to prosecute.
Yes.
The challenge is getting those things. I know that this is already underway. The DEA head said that you guys are already doing this.
Yes, our partnership with DEA came about because their leadership already was dealing with parent victims wanting these cases investigated. HPD got involved. Our lawyers were providing counsel, but I've added more lawyers to the staff because we already have 30 cases that are appropriate for a homicide-like investigation. A lot depends on the cooperation of the victim's family, but the investigation is a new tactic of law enforcement in terms of drug enforcement. So they've combined homicide investigators and drug investigators in this task force. And our legal counsel has that dual experience too, homicide prosecution and drug prosecution.
So I noticed that Congressman Dan Crenshaw has floated in Congress, wanting to get military involved and trying to apprehend some of these people. The DEA, of course, is federal. He's talking about military. Your sense that they need more help, but you know, you can only prosecute when you get the people in. Do you think that's a good idea, or you haven't given that much thought?
Well, I had not heard about the bill, but the military is a real hammer more for enforcement, and this requires nuanced investigation. Right. So overdose deaths haven't been treated criminally.
Got it.
That's the difference. And because parents are so distraught over the deaths of their loved ones who often didn't know they were taking fentanyl, thought that they were taking a pill that is marked Adderall or Xanax, we've, in our society, often blamed the user. And what I want to do, along with this task force of law enforcement, is hold the people accountable who are profiting from these deaths.